Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a regular here. This is the continuation of the Idaho 4 series of readings, and today I'm reading on Ann Taylor. I've been thinking about how to continue with these readings since the trial has ended, and to begin with I thought I'm going to have to do things differently. I'm going to have to cherry pick who I'm going to read next because the trial has finished, kind of. But then I thought, actually, I don't need to change anything. As far as I'm concerned, this case is still unsolved. And in order for me to get as much information as I possibly can to get to the answers that everyone, or that most people are looking for, I need to continue the way I was, and that was by doing a thorough investigation and exploring the energies of everyone and anyone who is connected to this case, which is what I'm going to continue to do. However, I've been drawn to doing Ann Taylor today. She's on my mind an awful lot. She's the closest connection to Brian Kohberger currently. She's been his mentor, his influence, his guide, his therapist, but I just feel it's important I do a reading for her today. So this is a psychic reading. It is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing I say or state during this reading am I claiming to be factual. I'm using cards and messages, and all of that is open to interpretation, and I encourage you to interpret these cards and messages the same in the same way, not in the same way, in any way you choose. So we're going to start off with the Clarifying Life Situations deck, because just to get a gauge on who she is, what are her most prominent feelings either now, or what were her most prominent feelings. This might give us a glimpse of her personality, or it might be something else, but let's see. So 2 cards from this deck. The first card says, Crystal of Clarity. Illuminate your path with openness and insight, readying yourself for a newfound understanding of content. Wow. And the next card says, Steady Progress. Patience is your ally. Celebrate each step forward, no matter the size. So these cards just kind of make it very clear to me that she, from the very beginning, 100% believes that Brian is innocent. I do feel that she has a very her concern and care for Brian goes above and beyond, I think, probably any other client she's had, is what I feel. I feel there is a real aura of protection from her towards Brian. I can see it when she has been at any of the hearings. Especially the last hearing, it was almost, I don't know, it's like almost a sense of pride, which is strange because he's just admitted to something that he potentially didn't do. But it's like, it was that famous picture of her smiling to me, almost said, well done, you did it. Well done, you did it. I'm proud of you. Like, you just did something that was incredibly difficult, because how hard would that have been if he had nothing to do with it? But she knows he's doing it for good reason. And it's something I'm not going to speculate on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't end up in jail. I don't know, but let's see. But she's crystal clear on who Brian is. She's crystal clear of his innocence, and she feels she's now actually making progress, which is interesting. I think there's a lot more to Anne Taylor, and people don't give her credit. I think she's one of those people who is a bit of a silent assassin. I think she's probably got a lot up her sleeve that we don't know about. She's not going to advertise it. She's not going to brag about it. But I certainly don't feel like she's done with this. But anyway, let's carry on with the oracle cards. The next deck is a new one. Can I remember? It's the Power of Self-Direction. The Power of Self-Direction deck. So the first card is Addicted, Unsound. Break the cycle of addiction, healing, step forward. And the next card is Opinion and Argument. Staying vigilant, psychological game, emotional manipulation. Wow. Addicted, break the cycle of addiction, healing, step forward. I mean, I know that Brian obviously has a history of drug abuse. I don't understand what this card is trying to tell me. This one, opinion, argument, staying vigilant, psychological game, emotional manipulation. Wow, I mean, all of that I feel like has been going on in the courtroom and behind the scenes, things that we don't know about. What led up to the actual plea deal, it hasn't actually been confirmed where the plea deal came from, whether it was from the prosecution or from the defence. I think either way, I mean, I've got so much I could say on this, but I'm not going to because it would be speculation. But if it came from the defence, it's because they were put in a position where they felt they had no choice. So either way, I feel like it was the situation was manufactured for that outcome. So yeah. Next, we have the Revealing the Truth Oracle. This card is greed, laziness, obsession, cruelty, and stupidity. I think that's her feelings towards someone, and I feel like it's her feelings towards someone maybe more than one person in the courtroom. And then we've got gravity, attraction, magnetic field, potential energy. I mean, it is a magnetic field of attraction around this case and around her and around Brian Kohberger. But again, I feel like she's going to, even though she's had to come back down to earth because the gravity in that card is about her and Brian coming back down to earth with a bit of a bump, she is going to use what she has to turn it round to her advantage. Already we're getting signs of people like Steve Gonsalves, who are now seem to be hinting that, you know, that he's certainly not happy with how the prosecution has dealt with this, how much they're hiding, what else is, you know, and I think maybe he's always questioned it, I don't know, but I don't think he's questioning whether Brian Kohberger is guilty, but I think he probably definitely knows that if Brian did it, he did not do it alone. So she has so much potential, even though it's going to look like to anyone on the outside like this case is finished, closed, stamped, sealed and gone. It won't be. So something is going to be going on in the background here quietly. Whether it's Ann Taylor that's going to carry on quietly, she may not have time. I mean, presumably she's got plenty of other clients and work to be getting on with. But she may already have been doing some research on who can take this on, who can do the background research behind the scenes to find out, you know, to get the evidence required in order to, and I know you're all going to say he's signed a plea deal that means he cannot appeal. There are caveats to that. It doesn't mean that he has no grounds to appeal whatsoever. If new evidence comes to light that he didn't do it or that someone else did, that cannot be ignored in the eyes of the law. So let's carry on. This is the Echoes of the Soul Oracle. I'm really sorry guys if my camera's out of focus. I just realised it looks like it is. If it is, I apologise. I don't know why. So we've got Veil of Silence. I don't know what this picture's about, but and the Librarian. I mean, the Veil of Silence to me is pretty obvious. It's about the gag order. It's about the amount of evidence, the amount of discovery that she never found or never saw that was deliberately held from her. The Librarian, I think, is just about the amount of research or reference and research work that will be going on, whether it's her or someone else. I think that this is, like I said, this feels like the beginning of something, not the end. So this is the last deck, which is the Places Oracle, last deck of Oracle cards. I also drew 3 vocab cards before I started this reading, which I have not looked at. I did it completely blind, and I've put them face down over here, which I'm going to look at the end of the reading, because they're 3 keywords that are going to be relevant to this, to Anne Taylor. So okay, so we've got parking lot, parking spot, park and go, parking garage. And then floral delights, gardening joy, blossoming colours, plant care. Garden. Not sure what that's about. Parking lot. I mean, I don't know if this is giving me a direct clue that she knows something about a particular place, and I don't know why I'm feeling like this is something to do with, maybe there is a parking lot somewhere in the area that has some kind of floral name reference. And if there is, then there's some evidence there that she knows about. Maybe there's some CCTV, maybe there's some evidence of, I don't know, but I'm being given some kind of clue here that she has up her sleeve that she never got to use or reveal. So I'm also going to be pulling, because I'm trying to learn the runes, guys, so I'm going to be pulling a rune at the end of the reading as well, after I've read the keyword cards. But for now, we're going to clarify these cards with tarot. How interesting. The card that the first card that came out was the Empress, and that perfectly describes Anne Taylor's relationship with Brian Kohberger. It feels like she has this kind of maternal, nurturing energy towards him. There's a genuine level of care towards him, not just because he's her client. And then we have the Knight of Wands, and I think that this is probably representing Brian in how she feels. He to her, he is the Knight of Wands. He's someone who is incredibly brave, also very proactive, positive, can be spontaneous, can be impulsive, but yeah. So the steady progress card, clarified by the Queen of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. So again, I don't know if she is an air sign. She might be, or she might have an air sign as her ascendant. But if she does, she could be Gemini, Libra or Aquarius. But it doesn't matter, because this card just indicates someone who will always speak their truth. Someone who articulates well, but also their main, that the most important property, that's not the word I wanted, characteristic to have in anyone is honesty. And she adopts that. She does not believe in twisting the truth or embellishing things to make them look or sound better than or worse than they are to get her what she needs or what she wants. She just delivers the facts. She doesn't need to decorate the facts, or does that make sense? And then we've got the Seven of Pentacles. This has taken obviously nearly 3 years, guys, and throughout that time she has tried to adapt, constantly replan, rethink, reassess, reevaluate. To get the best outcome for Brian. And the steady progress. I think she honestly believed that she was making very steady progress. In fact, before, give it a week before this happened, she probably thought she was winning. And then certain things happened and everything collapsed. So the next card is the Addicted Unsound. Six of Swords reversed. And the Eight of Pentacles reversed. I mean, what I feel is that he's probably been clean. Probably. I mean, I know it's very easy to get hold of narcotics when you're in jail, but I don't know if Brian would have had access to them. I don't think he would have had the connections inside. Possibly not, but I don't feel it. So therefore, I think he's probably clean and sober. So if there's a positive to come out of this, then it's that. But what I'm getting from this is Anne giving him some very important advice, and that is, no matter how long you're in there for, do not be tempted into going back, because it could well be that people are going to try and offer you all sorts of things, and it will be incredibly tempting because it's going to help. You're going to think it's going to help you get through it. But please be careful, because you do not know what you're being given. That's what I'm getting from this. It's like, if someone wanted to finish Brian off, there's many ways they could do it, but one of them could be an overdose, which would be made to look like an overdose because he took something which was toxic, or I don't know. So opinion, argument, staying vigilant, psychological game, emotional manipulation, clarified by the King of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles reversed. I've just been, just looking at this card again, it's very interesting. These two people on this card, I mean, this looks like a young version of Ann Taylor, and the other one looks like Josh Hurwitz. And I think that's the problem. I think the problem started when he came into this. And I think he is the King of Swords. And some of the things that he's tried to do has caused a lot of arguments. because I do feel this sense of psychological warfare coming from him. I think he's incredibly clever, and that's why he makes such a good lawyer, because it's not just about being book smart. He knows how to twist things without it looking like he's lying or making things up. He's incredibly clever, and Anne Taylor knows that. But she wouldn't allow him to emotionally manipulate her, or, you know, anyone else on her team. We've also got the Ace of Pentacles reversed. I don't know, did he ever claim he was working this case for free? Or have I imagined that? Because that card seems to be him claiming that he's working pro bono. But I don't know. He's not. 100% he's not. So, or he's not being paid. He's definitely being paid by the state, 100%. I don't know, it's almost like, did she find out something about him being funded privately that she didn't know about, or that no one's supposed to know about? That's what it looks like. It's like he's being funded by the state, but he's also raking in money from some sort of private from a private unknown source. So then we've got greed, laziness, obsession, cruelty, stupidity, clarified by the Three of Cups and the Page of Swords. So we've got three people. She's looking at three people in the. I think it's to do with the legal team on the prosecution side. Now there's the people that are front and centre that we see in the courtroom every day, but I do believe there's a bigger team that we don't see, or we're not aware of, or, you know, that most people, I think if you go and do some digging, you'll find out who they are. But there's definitely three people that she thinks are cruel. Maybe there's different labels for each of them. So maybe she thinks one of them is cruel. Maybe she thinks one of them is obsessed. And maybe one of them's either greedy or stupid. I don't know. But we've also got the Page of Swords. And this is young. This is young energy. The youngest person, I think, on that team, and I don't know, I might be wrong, I think is Josh. And that's I think that's the greed, because this card is titled Greed, and I think she sees him as someone who is incredibly greedy and probably obsessed as well, obsessed with money or obsessed with success. So then we've got gravity, attraction, magnet field, potential energy, clarified by the Six of Wands reversed, the Nine of Wands reversed, and the Three of Swords. It is difficult for Anne. I do feel that, you know, once we get to the end of this, and she has to go her own way and get on with her life and get on with her job, there's nothing she can do for, when I said there's nothing she can do for Brian anymore, I think there's a lot of stuff going on. But as far as having him close to her, that's no longer going to be the case. Whether she keeps in contact with him, possibly, but there's something here which really worries her, and that is having to let go, and not having any there's nothing she can do. You know, if anything happens to him, she cannot do anything about it. And that's hard. The Three of Swords is also incredibly painful for her to let him go. I feel like they've built this incredible relationship. And I almost feel like it's a bit like, I don't know what it's like. It's not like mourning someone. It's like building a very close relationship where you deeply care about someone and you have to let them go and you potentially don't know if you'll ever see them again. It's that kind of pain that she's going to be going through. It wouldn't surprise me if when we watch the hearing, and again I'm going to remind you, he is going to be coached into making a statement of apology to the parents. And it's going to sound incredibly convincing, like he definitely did this. He wouldn't be saying that if he didn't, but he's being coached into doing it. But I feel like she'll be incredibly emotional during that hearing. And it's not because people will assume she's emotional because of his guilt. It won't be. It will be because this is the last time they spend together, potentially for quite some time. Veil of Silence. Clarified by the Devil in reverse. And the Nine of Wands in reverse again. Six of Wands, sorry. Or is it the Nine? Hold on. It's neither, it's the Eight. Need glasses. The Eight of Wands in reverse. That Veil of Silence and the Eight of Wands in reverse essentially mean the same thing. It's like a deliberate block of communication, or blocking information she was stopped from finding things out. She was deliberately kept, certain evidence was kept from her all the way through the case. The Devil in reverse. The Devil in reverse is basically, if there's one thing she's going to be relieved about, is no longer being controlled or having an unhealthy attachment, or having people, you know, kind of, I do feel like she was constantly led and told, oh yes, we're going to have that for you next week. Yes, don't worry, sorry Anne, things have been, other things have come up, but promise you, maximum 2 weeks. And it feels like that's been all the way through, where she's constantly been led this merry dance. And she gets to be free of that, finally. The Librarian. Clarified by the Five of Swords reversed. Page of Pentacles reversed. She also gets to do all of this from that point onwards in, it may not be her again, it may be, it may be not, but they get to do that in their own time, in their own peace, without any kind of manipulation or psychological warfare going on. You know, it's much easier, much better. There's no more competition or conflict in the way. The Page of Pentacles reversed. she's having to, because of this case, there's someone else here, either younger or very young at heart, who she's more or less had to, when I say reject, I think it's too harsh a word, but someone that has needed her, that she has not been able to help or has had to decline because of the amount of work she's had with this case. And it's a young person. I don't know why I'm being given that, because it's almost like they have a connection to the case, but not, if that makes sense. I also feel like it could be about someone that's passed. It's something here about a young person that passed. The Five of Swords reversed, which was it passed in some kind of conflict. I keep seeing the fire is the fireman. As far as I'm concerned, this is about the person that was accused of the Coeur d'Alene shootings. That young person. She's doing research. She's going to be doing a lot of research on that. Because I think she knows, if anyone knows there's links, it's her. And she knows the reason why this case came to an end is because of that. And that librarian card is about, here we go again. I will not stop until I reveal what's really been going on. So this garden card is clarified by the Star reversed and the Knight of Pentacles reversed again. Oh, not, sorry, it was the page before. So I said this is some sort of reference to a possible car park. Car park is a very UK term. Parking lot. So it's either a parking lot close to Moscow, in Moscow, but it could also be something to do with Coeur d'Alene or something to do with clues or evidence to do with that situation. So parking lot with a floral reference name. Either the parking lot is called something or it's on a road that's something floral. There's evidence. It's either video evidence or I don't know what it is, but the Star in reverse. Sorry guys, this is like, I know this is important. I'm getting literally a reversal of something. I mean, I also wonder, was he an Aquarius? I mean, I'm not saying it was him. I've got to do a reading on that, by the way, guys. That is going to be a reading coming up. The Knight of Pentacles reversed. So we've got the person who they claimed to be the shooter, Wes Rowley, I think his name was. That's the Page of Pentacles reversed. And then this one, Knight of Pentacles reversed, is one of the victims. Don't ask me which one, but it is one of the victims. and there's evidence. I know there's been rumours or potential evidence that one of the people that was unalived in the Coeur d'Alene shooting was meant to have been a key witness for Bryan Kohberger, a key alibi witness who has been unalived very conveniently. That parking lot, parking garage. Five of Cups and the Six of Wands. Sorry, it's the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups and the Six of Wands. This feels like someone trying to escape or get away or have, you know, like remove themselves from a situation that was connected to some kind of parking lot. Six of Wands. It's like someone's been given a mission of some kind where they had to go and park their car in a particular place in a parking lot. They had to walk away, they had to get out, they had to walk away, they had to leave the parking lot, they had to leave. It's really weird. I can't pinpoint it exactly, but whatever it was, part of their mission, which is linked to this Coeur d'Alene case, meant that as far as they're concerned, they did it. They passed, they succeeded in the mission. Something else going on in a parking lot as well that day, that night. Like it's almost like there was another unaliving in a parking lot. And that Kaylee, just thinking about it, the messages that Kaylee gave me that night, and she said that someone had not been unalived. She never said they'd been unalived, but someone had lost their life because of something that had been said. Did they lose their life in a parking lot? Was this about that person? What did I say their name was? Charles or Greg. That again is linked to this Coeur d'Alene. It's like the potential the potential Bryan Kohberger witness was unalived for obvious reasons. But there was also someone else who also had information or knowledge, who was also unalived. Not necessarily a witness. It's all very complex, guys. It's very interesting. It's intriguing. It's incredibly intriguing. So now I'm going to read these last 3 cards that I pulled. I have no idea what they say. So we have antiquity and obsolete. Excuse me. Antiquity, ancient times. People alive during antiquity held very different values and beliefs. Obsolete, out of date. Because of their ingenuity and flaws, obsolete mechanical devices are fascinating. And the theme on this card is time. The next card, the theme is youth, and the words are neophyte or neophyte, and fledgling. Neophyte is a newcomer. As a neophyte, Thomas Becket had fresh eyes and was able to recognise King Henry's attempts to seize control over the church. Fledgling, showing early promise of potential. The Battle of Britain served as a major test of the fledgling coalition government. This, as far as I'm concerned, is to do with Josh Hurwitz. He came in and had fresh eyes and was able to recognise loopholes, different ways of doing things, psychological manipulation techniques, all of those things. And the fledgling is about, I mean, I think earlier in his career, he probably did just have that natural talent or ability to do what he does. I understand that he's done some like really big government work, I believe. I don't know if I've misread that or I've been, I don't know, but yeah, which is interesting. And the last card is enigmatic and incoherent. And the theme is bizarre. Enigmatic, puzzling, mysterious. The example is Richard Nixon, a flawed man of prodigious talent, was an enigmatic president. Incoherent is incomprehensible. Rodney's paper was so incoherent, its main thesis was hard to divine. So as far as Anne Taylor's concerned, because I don't know if they're going to release all of the details of the, you know, of the case. Is everything going to be, if everything's unsealed, believe me, guys, whatever is presented to us won't be the truth. So just please keep an open mind, because it's not like, oh, look at that, all the stuff that we didn't know about, and look at that, finally we see the light. It's not going to, they've got plenty of time to change and edit things. So as far as Anne Taylor's concerned, either now or moving forward, it's puzzling, it's mysterious, and it's incomprehensible. It may be that what they do end up releasing, especially the things that she doesn't know about, or the things they've kept from her, the discovery that she never had, because she'll get to see that as well, finally. To her, it'll just be incomprehensible, incoherent rubbish. Wow. So guys, the last thing is picking a rune, like I said, I'm learning, so I don't know the meanings yet, but there are some cards here that have got the meanings on them. Very, very basic meanings. Sorry for the noise. Oh, should I actually do this down here? Actually, you probably want to see, don't you? I'm really sorry about the noise. Okay. So, I have picked, I'm sure it's not called this, but it looks like an X. So let's find out which one is it. So it's called Gibo, Jibo, and it says gifts, both in the sense of sacrifice and of generosity, indicating balance. All matters in relation to exchanges, including contracts, personal relationships and partnerships. I'll read that again. Gifts, both in the sense of sacrifice and of generosity. I mean, it's both sides, isn't it? Both Anne Taylor and Brian Coburg have both had to sacrifice for this case. I think that Anne Taylor is incredibly she's generously spirited towards Brian anyway. All matters in relation to exchanges, like we're talking legal exchanges here, including contracts, personal relationships and partnerships. Balance. Balance. That's what we need, guys. So, thank you. There's so much I want to talk about, you know, a few things that have come to mind. Actually, one of the things is the picture that I uploaded in the don't even know what it's called. There's a post section on my channel, on anyone's channel on YouTube. So if you don't know, if you look up and you'll see different tabs, there'll be a video that will, I don't know what it shows, shorts videos, and you move along, and I think it might be the last one, and it will say something to do with posts. It's more like a social media kind of element to YouTube. If you click on that, you'll see all the posts come up. So I can post, anyone else can post on this channel, but I recently uploaded a picture that appeared out of the blue. I was actually trying to make a thumbnail for the last video that I did on the Idaho 4. And I go searching on Google, I find the relevant picture of someone, and then I download or save it to my phone. Anyway, I've gone to my camera roll on my phone, and there's this picture sitting there that as far as I'm concerned, had nothing to do with me. I didn't do it. Now, it quite possibly could be a glitch or an error on my phone when my phone's tried to save 20 pictures at once or something, and it's come out like that. But whatever it is, I am absolutely convinced that Spirit gave me that picture, because it is just incredible. As soon as you look at it, you see, even though it's not a clear picture of anything, as soon as you look at it, you can see a gun. Well, I could see a gun. You can see cars. You can see houses. You can see people. It's like, wow, I meant to see this, and that's why I shared it. So I do want to do a video on that as well, but I'm not sure how to, because I'm not very tech savvy, and it's one of those videos that would have to be done while the picture's on screen while I talk about it. So leave that one with me. I need to use different software, which is, don't even want to go there. Anyway, guys, thank you. I'm going to stop waffling on. Thank you, as always. Thank you for your love, your support, your encouragement and your engagement that I return to you tenfold. I will see you next time. Enjoy the journey.